From anticipation to frustration, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has, I don't know how to really say this to you guys, kind of been a bit of a letdown with just the state of the game itself. The game itself is still a good game, but that doesn't change that it has a lot of issues that if it doesn't change soon, it might not stick around. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's a Dragon Ball game. People are gonna play it regardless, but the player base can be a lot bigger than what it is if they fix a lot of things. And so this game, to survive, needs a crucial balance patch, because otherwise it might just be like all the other games where they'll come out, be hyped for a few weeks, and then just nobody cares. It's already lost a significant portion of its player base. 80, I think 90% of the player base on Steam has already stopped playing, which is crazy considering as anticipated as this game was. It's only been a month and already that many players stopped playing. Yes, it's not the console numbers, but that's nothing to just ignore. I don't know why people want to ignore that, but whatever. I even see some people say that they're just not enjoying the game because a lot of these issues really just makes the game not fun to play. And I definitely agree to an extent, because I'm not even really playing this game as hard as I assumed I was going to. If I'm not playing with friends, I'm just not really on it. Alright, real quick, they actually just announced not too long ago on Twitter that there will be a patch. They're also doing some tournament, but there is a patch coming in next month. So yeah, take everything I'm saying in this video, still what I would like to see in the patch, but definitely just last second kind of change. So if I'm in the video talking about like what the fuck are they doing, why haven't they done anything yet, they already did something, so, or working on something. So, but anyway, just watch this video as you're trying to see what I would like to see in the patch. There we go. The only thing that might save it is a crucial balance patch, if Bandai would hurry the fuck up. I'm the Grace Rogue, stepping out of the shadows to bring you content. Let's talk about what that patch could entail. Alright, ranked gets on my nerves because of the way people fight with the over-reliance of Sparky mode skills, or just fighting in general with the never-ending vanishing wars. It was fun to me for like the first day, then immediately afterwards got stale. Sometimes I'll just lose the vanish war on purpose just to end the repetitive vanishing game. Then you have defensive skills like after image strike, which you can counter it and also kind of just wait the skill out for the full 15 seconds. But then the pace of the match drastically slows down. Another thing that is rightfully hated is the instant Sparky mode or full power skills. I don't necessarily have a problem with the skills themselves, but the fact that you can use it and then after doing whatever bullshit you want to do in that mode, if you have the skill stocks left, you can go right back into another one. Honestly, that's the most sickening part playing against people that do that shit. Like, it's just, come on bro, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Tell me you get on this game just to do that bullshit? Especially because they typically do this with, of course, unblockable ultimates. And if you still somehow beat those people after they play like that, they rage quit. I know. And then you have the one mechanic that the community has the most controversy on, super counter. Look, most fighting games I play, I'm typically an aggressive fighter. I love staying on my opponent and just being an annoying person to play against. But in this game, when you already have to bait out perception holding, defensive skills, freaking after image strike, all this bullshit, and deal with the vanishing wars on top of it, when you would think at least that, hey, after I did all that shit, I made the right reads and everything, I get behind them, it's combo time, right? You're 5 hits in and super counter. Now look, super counter is a tricky mechanic to talk about because it is needed in a game like this, especially with there's so many ways you could do like infinite routes and shit like that. But the problem is, and I know people hate it, because the one you have is actually more lenient than expected, and it kind of leads to people spamming the input until they're free. Now I'm weird because I actually just keep trying to actively do the input at the right time. So you could say I try to be more graceful with it. Okay, yeah, that was bad. But the fact that Z counter can be done that way is annoying. The fact that you can just keep spamming it over and over again until you actually land it is kind of dumb. However, due to input delay issues in this game that thankfully people do acknowledge, that window being the way it is actually kind of helpful, especially when fighting against someone with terrible connection. But it gets to a point where fights at the highest level is just constant Z counters and vanish wars that just make this game boring to watch and even play at times. So look, here's how I would rework a lot of these issues in the game, and you guys let me know if you agree or disagree, or just tell me why these ideas would work or why they wouldn't work in the comments. Instant Sparky mode changes. Make it so after using any skill that instantly puts you in Sparky mode, not only are you locked out of using the sparking mode skill again, but you have a key sickness debuff that it wouldn't just work in the usual way of like the old games where your key charge is slower, but also make it so it locks you out of your instant sparking skill for the whole duration of the debuff, and make the debuff last anywhere from like 1 minute to a minute and a half. Now, I can already imagine even new strategies being made off that, where those kind of players that like to rely on that tactic will just switch to someone else who can also do the instant spark and then do the same thing, but then switch back to the other character that had the debuff once it runs out. So that's kind of my initial idea of it. I don't know what else to really change, at least I can't think of anything at the moment. You guys let me know what you think would be a better change for that. I definitely do think the key sickness should make a return. I definitely think it should lock you out. But the thing is, when team switching is involved, I wonder how you can really play around that. But again, that's more so discourse in the comments. Second change, after image strike, change the duration time from 15 seconds to 5 seconds. Maybe 5 seconds is too harsh, so the most I'd agree with is maybe 6 to 7 seconds. 15 seconds is unnecessarily too long, especially in a fighting game, come on. Or give it a set amount of just like 3 vanishes. I have heard some people say that it has a set vanish of like 5 per after image strike or some shit like that. That is definitely a lie, unless it's different per character. I did not experiment it, so if you know, let me know. But as far as I know, for the whole 15 seconds, I'm vanishing melee attacks for free. So, and not even just melee attacks, just attacks in general. So I don't want to hear that. I think the best change for that, make it either 5 to maybe 7 seconds long, or just make it, if you want to keep, still nerf the time regardless, but give it a set amount of vanishes, so maybe 3. I think that'd be the best change for it. Sometimes I play with like characters that have it, and I don't even want to use it because I feel cheap as fuck using it, unless I'm fighting someone that's like doing that it's instant spark, unblockable ult. Then I'll pop it because it's like, okay, well, now you left me no fucking choice. But speaking of unblockable ults, unblockable ultimates, now this is just my idea on it. Give Super Perception the option to use 2 bars, like when the deflection option is used, like when you're deflecting a Kamehameha or Gala gun, but make it vanish you out of the way of the ultimates that would have hit you. Now, yes, you can just automatically like vanish by yourself if you know what's coming, or just move out the way. The problem is they lock you down with Ki Blast until they hit you with the ultimate, and you really can't, even if you have the bars, you don't deflect when you're holding like triangle or in circle. You don't deflect because you're still deflecting the Ki Blast. You're gonna get hit. But if they make it where while you're deflecting Ki Blast, if you're holding Perception and they hit you with like an unblockable ult or something like that, you can vanish out the way. I think that would be nice, and it's a cost, like it does help you. You have to spend something to get out of it as well. You might not like that, but at least it's a guaranteed way to get out. Now, what also makes that kind of good is that's only in the case of like if you're locked down by Ki Blast and you're holding it. If you're still getting hit by a combo or something like that, it's not going to let you just start Perception in the middle of it and get out of like unblockable ultimates or just ultimates at that point, because they comboed you into the ult, so it makes sense they land it. But that's just kind of one way I would see it. Vanishing Wars. Honestly, either speed it up or have it just take larger amounts of ki, or I don't know, after a set amount of time just change into some sort of generic clash. The BT4 mod actually did that, which is crazy. Fans always do better with the game than sometimes the develop. Anyway, have it change to some sort of generic clash and go from there. Just let it reset to neutral, but please fix this. That is one of the most boring aspects of this game. Please. Super counter. Now this one, I think mainly the issue with it is how this and the Vanishing Wars kind of chain together into a very dumb gameplay loop. Either make it perform as a true reset to neutral option, or make it cost something. I've never played a game with essentially a free combo breaker with no actual cost. People say it's timing, but people just spam the button input. That's all they do. And even if you reset it to neutral, I still think it should cost something. Make it like a legitimate combo breaker with a cost. Because the fact that you can just do it at any point, which yes, with combos in this game and stuff like that, I don't know, something with that's got to change. But yeah, that's one of my ideas for that. Rage quitting, please, for the love of God. The fact that this is still a common issue in games like this in 2024, and every time we have to beg or request for them to do something about it, is kind of insane to me. But do 2 things, please. On the love of Dende, please do 2 things. 1, take away points from the quitters and give points to the player that stayed. It doesn't even have to be the full amount, just give them half of whatever they would have gotten if the match completed normally. And 2, make it so the players that are quitting get locked out of ranked match after constantly quitting for a brief amount of time. Storm Connections eventually added that into the game. Crazy because the game's still basically dead, but if they added that into this game, that would be so nice, because not only do you still get benefited from when they quit, you get points, but also if they keep quitting, eventually they're just going to time out of the rank and they can't play for a little bit, which would be nice. Last change, not as major as the rest on this list, but I would like it. Short dash shouldn't really cost any key. I do think it's kind of crazy that I'm out trying to maneuver and bait and shit like that, and I'm spending more key to start my offense because of all the defensive options in this game, and it's really just a movement option. Like, if it's not even like Z burst dash or anything like that, which I know some people have problems with Z burst dash. I hate it too sometimes. It is an I win neutral button, but you can, that one is like the least of the problems in this game. You can back up key blast, do anything. You can as soon as they Z burst dash, just perception them or some shit. Like, there's options to stop it, so that one is not really a problem to me. It's more so like all the other bullshit in this game. And one little last point that I want to throw in here is, people like to defend a lot of this shit in the game, saying, oh, they don't need to change anything, or the game was meant to be unbalanced and people just don't want to complain about it or whatever, right? The thing is, while yes, the older BT games were made to be kind of like an imbalanced, kind of lore accurate series, the thing is, those games, and yes, they had some cheese, it wasn't like this. And people misunderstand when they're talking about unbalanced. There's a difference between it being unbalanced in the sense of character stats, like, hey, this character's going to hit harder, this character's going to do more damage, like shit like that, compared to this character can abuse in-game mechanics and it just ruins the whole experience. Like, you could, even back in the old BT games, you can still pull, and yes, in this game, you can still pull up a Krillin and shit like that. That's not the point. The point is you're fighting an uphill battle for game mechanics alone when it shouldn't be that way. If they pick a stronger character, then yes, you know it's an uphill battle, but it's already twice as hard, if 3 times, 4 times as hard of a battle, because you gotta, let's say, fight a Broly, you gotta already deal with the fact that he's stronger than a character you pick, like let's say you pick Pan, but then not only that, he has unblockables, armor, all this shit. It's like, what the fuck? Now maybe that's just me. Even in the old BT games, while yes, there is unbalanced shit, they had safe gaps or stop gaps to really kind of keep the game balanced, and you didn't really kind of see the lot of bullshit we have in this one. Now yes, it's a modern version of the Budokai series. I will say, and I might get hate for this, that it's definitely more of a watered down version. I'm not going to say that I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm not saying I hate the game. I want this game to flourish, I really do. But when you compare it to the old BT3, and I'm not saying it had to be a carbon copy, but in my opinion, it's just not hitting the same. Like, if they fix a lot of this shit, then that'll probably change. But as of right now, it's not doing it. And even a lot of the old like BT3 vets, they're not even really like that hype about the game. Like, don't get me wrong, they're playing it, but they're like waiting for a patch or something because they want the game to do better too. And as of right now, it's not hitting for them either. So I don't know. This is my take. Don't throw pitchforks at me, because trust me, I have senzu beans for days, so you're not going to kill me. But at the same time, I can't be the only one out here that's a little upset about this game. A game that I've been anticipating since the announcement trailer of it. Like, and it's not just me. This is a series we've all been waiting for. For it to drop off that fast, all I'm saying is I should not be going back playing other games that I've been playing for months, when this game I've been waiting for a while. But those are my thoughts on some changes. Any issues you have with these changes, or if you feel like something could be better, let me know in the comments, and back to the shadows I go.